The number one movie that I recommend you watch that I think is mind expanding is the movie The Matrix. The Matrix is a movie with Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. And what happens in this movie is it's called The Matrix. The idea is that we all live in a matrix. And the matrix we think is real because we interpret reality through our five senses. And what in the movie The Matrix it talks about is how all what we experience through our five senses is electrical signals sent up through the brain. Whatever we can eat, whatever we taste, touch, smell, hear, see. It's all electrical signals that go up to the brain. The idea is that there's a certain level of like a machine system, and that's like the metaphor in the movie, a machine system for our reality maintaining its momentum, and people doing the same jobs every day, going to work the same day, having the same conversations. That kind of represents the autopilot mind, which in a way is a machine. Now, the process that Neo goes through is he gets awakened from Morpheus. By the way, Morpheus is Lawrence Fishburne. It's also a name that has to do with the Greek. Morpheus is like a Greek god. It has to do with of dreaming, like a god of dreaming, or I don't know if it's a god of dreaming, but something to do with dreaming. And that's when Morpheus first talks to Keanu Reeves when he has like a 9 to 5, when he has like this office job. And then what eventually happens is he gets offered the blue pill or the green pill. The blue pill, he'll forget that conversation ever happened. That's like the blue pill. It's like he'll be comfortable. Blue kind of represents comfort in my mind as well. He's going to go back to bed, forget anything happened. The red pill, though, is the pill of truth. It is the pill of him going down a rabbit hole and him learning the truth about reality. And he, of course, chooses the red pill. He wants to go down the truth. And that's kind of, it's considered like the philosopher's journey. There's also a really cool video I watched on YouTube, which broke down the Matrix movies and shows how it's like the path to enlightenment. And then he goes through a process of having to unlearn everything he already learned. Everything's a mental construct. The beliefs we have, the society we live in, we just agree to a lot of things. And what we realize is that once we break down those beliefs, we can then build new beliefs. And that's what Neo goes through. Even like it's symbolized by him jumping from one building to another, which is like in when they start to realize who they really are and become aware of the truth. And it's like they can do these things that we consider to be magic, like jump, and fly. Well, that's eventually towards the end he could fly. But the idea is, jumping huge, great distances. He eventually falls, and that's like his doubt. And eventually he has to overcome doubt. And there's definitely deeper, I don't want to ruin the movie for you, there's a lot of deeper symbology in it, but that YouTube video as well that I'm talking about that breaks it down, breaks down the movie The Matrix, and you can find that on YouTube, just probably type that in. But The Matrix is one of my favorite movies. Watching it, especially now after maybe a lot of you have gone through a deeper spiritual awakening, will just blow your mind with how deep and how much symbolism it is. I'm a big fan of the first one. Second one is okay. Third one I didn't really care for that much, but the first Matrix is great. Definitely recommend that. So very mind-expanding. The second movie I recommend is Inception. Any Christopher Nolan movie, by the way. Christopher Nolan is a director, and the movie Inception is with Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I believe, Michael Crane. Who else? That one guy that played Bane. I don't know. I'm not an expert at all this, but Inception was about a dream within a dream. So Leonardo DiCaprio, it's like a way of, what if there was a way that you could go into another dream, time would dilate, and what if you're in a dream right now? That's kind of what the movie eventually alludes to. What if we're in a dream right now? And it's like a dream within a dream. And what they do is they want to influence the subconscious mind of someone. So they do a dream within a dream within a dream. And when you go that deep and it's really interesting how it works. But when you watch these videos or these movies, you start to see deeper symbology in a lot of them. And you could see like how that affects at different levels. Like another show that I'm watching right now is a show called Westworld. So my friend Drew was like, you got to watch this show. Westworld's on HBO, so I got HBO. I'm watching the show. I'm only like 4 or 5 episodes into the first season. The idea behind this, and I do think this is interesting. Interesting take on AI too. It comes to AI, I don't know if it's negatively programming for people for like becoming more open to AI. But basically, Westworld, it's actually a remake of something that came out back in the day because my dad was telling me about it. I told him about it yesterday. But Westworld, it's a show. There's a newer like version of it on HBO right now, and what it has to do is with these people. This, like, imagine an amusement park, like a Disneyland adult music amusement park. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's like a Western type thing, and imagine that there's all of these different like AI people that look like people and you can't tell the difference. And the idea is that these people are programmed and they have certain, things that they do. But what happens is people pay a lot of money to go to these amusement parks so that they can live out their wildest fantasies. All the lower kind of vibrational, like ego things. Also, they look real. So what people can go and they kill other people, do crazy things that they wouldn't be able to do in regular society. They can do at this place because these things are all fake, and there's just there's people that go there, and these people can't hurt the people that come. They don't really get hurt, but at least not yet in the seasons that I've watched. But all of the people there, all the AI and all the people that are like these, robots and stuff that look real, it's like you can hurt them, but they can't hurt you. So it's kind of an interesting idea, but people go there to live out their fantasies. But what happens in the series is these AI people or things begin to become consciously aware. And they start having all these bugs and all these things that happen and malfunctioning and stuff. And that's kind of what the series is about, which is very interesting. It's like a take on AI, as if AI started to gain some type of awareness. And what's interesting, though, is one of the ways that they program these things is, these people that start to kind of gain consciousness of their own, is they give them a backstory. And their backstory has a lot to do with their identity. Now, not to make this like a transformational episode, but kind of like think about that. We all have a backstory, an emotional backstory of something that happened that developed our personality and the way we see ourselves. And one of the ways that they change these characters is they go into their backstory, change their backstory, then changes how they are and the kind of way they're programmed and what they're driven by. So it's kind of interesting because what if we went our own backstory and we healed different aspects of ourselves and we saw it from a different point of view? We then might change our identity in real life. So it's kind of cool to see how these things kind of go deeper in. But Inception's a great movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio as well. Highly recommend Inception. Another Christopher Nolan movie that I really recommend is a movie called Interstellar. That's with Matthew McConaughey, and it has to do with the Earth destroying itself, and then Matthew McConaughey and a group of people go to try to find other like life forms somewhere else or another inhabitable planet. And there's like a wormhole that it's a longer story, but very, very mind expanding, especially towards the end. I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's like they go into like a different sense of time, and it's very cool. So the movie Inception and the movie Interstellar, I highly recommend. I wanted to throw in a couple curveballs here that maybe you haven't heard of before as well, and I'm going to share with you what everyone else shared as well for this. There's a documentary called Kumari, Kumare with a thing over it. What this guy does, this is actually a documentary. So this is actually like a real thing. Now, this is what this guy did. This guy that's from, originally his like parents are from India. He lives in New York. He's like 30 years old. What he does is he was on the path of like awakening, and he went to like India, and it was like, on the spiritual seeking path, and he realized that there was really only one message that he learned that was really true, and that is that all the answers are inside. And so what he did is he then grows out a beard, grows out long hair, goes to India, takes a couple photos with some like Indian saints or whatever, comes back, goes to a certain part in Arizona, and starts to develop like a following of people that he kind of comes off as this enlightened guy. And basically what he says the whole entire movie is he says, I am fake. I am not real. He kind of tells them the whole time, like, I am not real. Like, I am not who you think I am, And he does all these really like these yoga moves. He's like teaching yoga, does all these really crazy yoga moves. And it's about like these 5 or 6 different people's story and like how transformed they are from being around Kumari. And Kumari is just a regular guy. They don't know this, but he's just a guy from New York the whole time that grew out a beard, that is pretending to be enlightened. But all these people have some amazing transformations. And it's a documentary where it's really cool to see like these people transform and him teach like the answer is inside of you, and then at the end he unveils himself. And it's interesting to see how people respond because they have this like image of him of how he's supposed to be. And the only thing he kept telling the whole time is the real answer is the real power is inside you, you know? But that's a really cool documentary. It won some awards at like some Sundance festival or something like that, but it wasn't really well known other than that. But I thought it was genius. I thought it was really well done, and it really positive message, really empowering. It kind of shows you that all the power exists within you. Something else I do recommend though is right now there's a lot of time on your hands. This is one of the most important, powerful times for you to go within to create transformation. And one of the ways that I do this is I go for walks every day. I do workouts every day, and I listen to something called Audible. I don't know if you've ever heard of Audible, but it's one of my favorite ways of consuming books. You listen to it. It's easy. It's kind of like you're listening to a podcast right now. So it might be very easy for you to understand that it's easy for you to listen to a podcast. Videos, sometimes it takes a little more effort. However, one of my favorite audiobooks ever is actually by Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil. And it's a very cool monologue that goes back and forth, very easy to listen to with like a guy with a really deep voice, kind of like this. No, that's even deeper than that. It's like this is who I am. I am the darkness. And what it talks about is how the idea of outwitting the devil is about understanding drifting thought. And it puts a new perspective onto like waking up to more of who we are. Outwitting the Devil is one of my favorite audio books. If you go right now to Aaron Doughty, AaronDoughty.com/listen, LISTEN, you will get 2 free audible books. And one of them I recommend you get is either The Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks is a really good first one to get. Plus, also that of Outwitting the Devil, which I highly recommend as well.